I'm gonna trust you, Lord.
So I remember when I was 17 years old, I got a diagnosis from my doctor. She told me that I had PCOS. So at the time, I didn't process what that meant or what it was. If she told me about it, I don't remember anything. I just went about my life as if I didn't get that diagnosis. At about 20 years old, I remember there was a 6-month period where I didn't have my menstrual cycle at all. It wasn't until my then boyfriend, now husband, and I started talking about marriage. And I remember our pastor at the time doing premarital counseling with us. And one of the things that we talked about was making sure that we are in good health. So he recommended that both of us go get checked out from our doctor, and just make sure that we are okay. So when he said that, it brought back the memory of being diagnosed with PCOS. And I said, let me go to my doctor to get that checked out. I started asking questions and what does that mean and things like that. And I got more information about that. I go to my fiance and I tell him like, hey, this is what I got diagnosed with. Kind of like giving him the out, where it's like, hey, they told me that women who have PCOS have fertility issues. That is one of the things that comes with PCOS. So there's a high chance that we might not be able to have kids. And if kids is one of the things that you are desiring for, maybe, this is your out. I put a lot of my purpose as a woman who's been serving faithfully and just like, this is the next step, right? You've been doing everything that you needed to do. You're engaged, you're getting married. The next thing is have kids, right? That's how my brain was working at the time. And he stuck beside me wholeheartedly, was like, regardless, if we have them, we have them. If we don't, we don't, which I'm super grateful for. He never wavered. And we just started to pray and move forward, got married. We were married for a few years and started having conversations about like, okay, remember when you wanted to, you had that diagnosis about PCOS? Do you want to, go back and figure out what's going on, or what can we do? Is it just you have PCOS and that's the sentence, that's it? Or are there other things that we can do? We had this conversation because it was February. I had my cycle for the whole month of February and half of March, like consistently. This was not normal. I went from not having it for about 6 months at a time to now it's just a consistent cycle. I went to this OBGYN and she recommended I go on birth control pills. I can't take birth control pills because I was also diagnosed with depression and anxiety. The birth control pills have hormones in them, and I found myself feeling the peak of my depression while I was on birth control pills that led to suicidal thoughts and attempts. I gave that to God. I said, God, this diagnosis I refuse to accept. I'm going to do everything that I need to do in order to make sure that I'm no longer in that place. Yes, we're trusting God to deliver us from the depression and the anxiety, but there are also things that we have to do to make sure that we don't fall back into that. And part of that was me never taking birth control pills again. This doctor was very adamant that I take them, and went as far as to tell me that if I don't, I would have ovarian cancer before I turned 40. I rebuked that, left her office, and went on a hunt to find another doctor. Thank God, this doctor just fell into my lap, this OBGYN who still love her to this day. I told her what the doctor told me, and she was just like, ran all the tests, and she's like, I don't see where that doctor got that from. What I'm seeing is completely different from what this woman is telling you. She went along and kind of created a custom experience for me, recommended me to a fertility doctor who also an amazing woman, another godsend, who walked with me on the journey, and we prayed, we believed in God, but the trusting part was really hard. I wasn't putting my trust in God. I went as far as to say, God, if this is not a plan that you have for my life, remove the desire from me. Remove the desire to become a mother from my heart. And the more I prayed that prayer is the more I wanted to become a mother. We went through a bunch of trials, like medical trials, that everything failed. The pandemic happened and they told us that they wouldn't be able to continue the trial because they didn't know how COVID impacts pregnancy. So I was just like, God, I said, if you don't want me to be a mother, if it's not in your plans for me to be a mother, remove the desire from me. I was having dreams, like vivid dreams of me having a child, like me holding a child. I would get calls from family members of them having dreams of me, like I would have a child. I said, God, this feels like torture. We got another call from the doctor that said, hey, we got the all clear. They don't have enough evidence to say that we cannot move forward. So June of 2020, I went into the clinic and she was able to give me medication. And even that, I was like, God, am I dishonoring you by taking medication to help me have a child? I said, Lord, is this me not trusting you by relying on medication? And I said, even that, let me feel the conviction. If I'm outside of your will, or if I'm doing this and it's not what you desire, like remove this option from me or give me the conviction. Instead of that happening, we got the dollar sign of how much this process would cost for us. And we're just like, okay, well, maybe we're not gonna do this because we don't have that money. The doctor called us and said, hey, we got a grant for you. We got a grant so that you can go through with the process. So we were able to do that. And even with the grant, it was still too much money. The first call I made was to my sister. I didn't even finish telling her what the situation was. She just asked, what do you need? How much do you need? My sister paid the rest. We didn't have to come out of pocket for anything. That has been my journey of trusting God. I have a beautiful 3-year-old daughter, and it's a miracle from God. Her name is Elise, and it means God's promise. This is Elise, our miracle baby. She has been the child that God has promised to us in every way possible. Yeah, I'm just grateful. Did God's promise?
I'll trust.